Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Autumn and today I'm going to be discussing all the books I read in April and May. Okay, so to start off strong, I read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I actually finished this like in the first day of April. My boyfriend and I were reading it in anticipation of the movie, which we both love the book and the movie. This is my second book by Andy Weir. I did read The Martian and that was a 5-star read for me. This is also a 5-star read for me. He is such a good author. I was very skeptical about reading sci-fi to start, but now I feel like this is a genre that I am interested to read more and more. And Andy Weir does such a great job with his main characters being so humorous and funny and making light of such difficult situations. So in this book, we are following Ryland Grace, who wakes up on this spaceship by himself, not remembering anything. He's got total amnesia. And so he kind of pieces together that he's supposed to be saving the Earth from this like energy sucking alien force. And so he's like trying to piece together how he's exactly supposed to do this and what he's supposed to do because his memories are like slowly coming back to him. The way that he narrates this book is so funny and like so lighthearted, even though it's a serious situation. And there are quite a few surprises along the way in this book, and it takes a pretty big turn that I did not expect or see coming in any way, shape, or form. And I loved the twist that this book had. There is a pretty big development in this book, which I absolutely loved. And I think they did a really good job in the movie as well. So I don't really want to say anything more about it. I would absolutely recommend. And even if you're not a big sci-fi reader, I think Andy Weir does such a good job of like explaining how nerdy everything can be because he is so smart and like a lot of things go way over my head, but in a way that you can trust that he's done the research and done the math for these things. So yeah, I would totally recommend this book. It's a 5-star read. And then I continued with the Cruel Prince series in April. So in April, I read like 7 books. And then in May, I only read 2, which is wild. I have not read that low of like amount of books in a month in a long time. So yeah, that's a little different for me. But anyways, I finished up the Cruel Prince trilogy. So I read The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. These are the next 2 books. And again, we are following Jude and Cardan as she kind of traverses the aftermath of what she's done in The Cruel Prince. And she is like trying to make sense of the repercussions of her actions pretty much in book 1, and we are following them as war is on the horizon and she is frantically trying to save this kingdom that she's not born into but she loves so much. So I really enjoyed reading this series. I honestly think this is like a 4-star series for me. I love the whole imagery of these books and the overall like fantasy land that it takes place in. It's like fairyland really is fairyland. Like it's just your typical fairies, goblins, all that stuff that you would picture as a child, which I loved. I just think that I probably would have liked this series a lot more if I read it as a young adult and not in my like mid-20s. So because of that, I think it's a 4-star, but I would totally recommend the series. And then I did a reread of both Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea in April. These are just comfort reads for me, and Anne of Green Gables feels like such a spring read to me. It's a coming of age story about this 11-year-old orphan named Anne as she goes to live with the Cuthbert family, and we're just watching her grow up, and she's so ecstatic and positively excited to be adopted and live with this family and finally have a place to call home. And we are just following her as she grows up and develops over time. She is the sweetest little girl ever, and I love reading about her in the first book. The second book is when she's a little bit older. I think she's like 16 or 17. She's going to college. She's going to start teaching at the school, and these are comfort reads for me, so I would totally recommend this series if you have not picked it up. So obviously these are 5 stars. And then I read How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. This is just like a little novella that takes place after the Cruel Prince series. It's got lots of artwork and stuff in it. It just has a bunch of short stories about Jude and Cardan after the events of the Cruel Prince. I loved reading this. The artwork is absolutely stunning, and I just think that it's a really fun piece to have if you've read the trilogy. And I honestly didn't even really care about the stories. They were great, but I was just so excited to look at all the artwork and all the masterpieces that were in this book. I think it's a really cool book to add to your collection at home. And then the last book I read in April was The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So this is a duology that's still set in the same universe as The Cruel Prince, except we're following Prince Oak, which is the younger brother, and he's pretty much going on this mission to try and save, I guess, the throne after, I think it's 8 years in the future. So he ends up recruiting Suren, and she was a queen of an ice court or whatever. They're basically going on this journey to sabotage and distill any kind of anger and resistance that's boiling and uprising in this ice court. So this book was kind of good, but they were on a journey for the entirety of this book. So we only get a little bit of action in the last bit of this book. And because of that, I gave it a 3.75. I was just getting kind of bored. I felt like they could have gotten where they needed to go a lot sooner. And then when they did get there, I feel like the action just happened so fast. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. This is just, I don't know. When action happens, I kind of want it to be lasting longer than them just walking through the woods, but that did not happen. So 3.75, it's definitely not as good of a series in my opinion as The Cruel Prince, because in May I immediately went to The Prisoner's Throne, and this is the concluding book in the Stolen Heir duology. So we're again following Oak and Suren as they try to keep their throne safe, keep the kingdom safe, so on and so forth. I think I gave this book 3.5 stars, but honestly, I feel like these books are maybe more of a 3-star in hindsight, because I don't know, I kind of got bored reading these. I feel like the surprise ending that happened in The Stolen Heir was so similar to The Cruel Prince. I was like, we've read this before. And then just the unfolding and unraveling of the events in this book and how they wrapped it up, it was fine, but I don't know, it didn't feel that creative, and it didn't feel all that different from The Cruel Prince. So I don't know if I'd recommend this duology unless you absolutely loved The Cruel Prince and you want to read more in that world. So yeah, and then the last book I read in May was My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. I listened to the audiobook for this one because they have voice actors and they had some sound effects and stuff. So it was pretty cool to listen to. We are following this woman who goes out for a run one day, and she essentially comes back to the house, tries to unlock the door, and her key doesn't fit. She knocks on the door, and then a woman answers saying, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Wait, who are you?" And pretty much the woman that opens the door is claiming to be her husband's wife. So she's very confused because she's like, "No, that's my husband." And she thinks that she's getting pranked or something like that. She thinks someone is lying, and we're pretty much following her as she's trying to figure out why someone is pretending to be her. And we're following the detective as they uncover the mystery behind this woman and try to figure out who is lying. This woman, actually, the detective, has a lot more to do with these people than we initially think, and we get lots of different perspectives. I honestly really was enjoying this book. I felt like the pacing was fantastic. The way that the detective gets thrown into this story and the way that she's connected to these characters worked really, really well. I was so surprised by how she was connected to these characters. Totally caught me off guard. However, like, this book I feel was building up to a 5-star. It was getting so good. And then the very end, the plot twist, like the reveal, it was so far-fetched. I feel like Alice Feeney just didn't even know what to do for the plot twist and how to make this reveal kind of crazy. So she just kind of came up with something. It felt like it was way too far out. Like, there's no possible way that this could happen. I don't know. It felt really unbelievable, the ending. And so because of that, I was quite disappointed. I felt even a little bit more like, it wasn't confusing. It just felt unbelievable. So because of that, I rated this book like a 4-star. It was so close to being a 5-star, but I just feel like the ending was so rushed. And then she just didn't, like, Alice Feeney didn't know how to end this book. So she just kind of like threw together something that could like maybe be believable, but it doesn't really feel that way. And so, yeah, it was still good, 4 stars, but I would say go into this book, and if you get to the ending and you're like, wait, what? That's how I felt as well. So yeah, those are all the books I read in the months of April and May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one soon. Bye.